Hello, everybody. So, Renee and I have decided to do something new and fun and kind of on trend, as the young kids say, because we talk every week and we have very lengthy conversations, but we don't want you to miss the good stuff. So, we have decided, with Renee's brilliant talent and tech skills, she's going to pull out snippets of the conversation and just post little shorts. And I know it's kind of the new thing on YouTube and Instagram, just little snippets of the good stuff. And then, of course, we always encourage people to ask questions, tell us more. We'd be thrilled to do that. But so much great stuff comes up in our conversations. We don't want you to miss out. So that's coming your way soon, and hopefully everyone finds it fun and it's pretty easy. They're going to be pretty short. Some of them might be a little longer. And yeah, as always, Renee loves to say, feel the energy. You're not getting maybe the full context of the conversation, but you're definitely getting the energetic punch that is relevant. That really is, I always find Renee will say something and it probably goes both ways. And it just hits home for me. I just get it. Whether it's one word or she says one statement, all of a sudden it opens up this whole huge understanding. So that is our intent.
And you're right, it goes both ways. Tracy will say something, and all of a sudden it's like, hmm. And that's what you'll come into. You'll come into a little bit like, oh my God, this is what I see, this is what I do. It's also a piece that know and remember how easy things are. Because we'll like Tracy will say something and I'll be like, oh my God, well, why don't we just do this? And then we will watch it unfold and do what we're saying. And just because you don't see it or you may not feel it does not mean it's not happening. It is happening. The minute you say or ask something to happen, it happens. So we're going to be showing you a lot of those things too, where you're right into the thick of it and what we're doing and what we're seeing and how we sort of feed off each other. So know that that happens for everybody, whether you see it or not. And I think the more you trust it, and I think the more you trust it, the more it happens.
Yes.
So, all
Exciting
righty.
stuff.
So, exactly. Let's go.
Let's go.
Started to show me all of this energy of remember when we were talking about the trees and how I don't remember what we did. I think we connected us all under the tree. So he started to show me they just look like they were electrified roots. And and I said to him, well, well, what is that? And he said, everything that is feeding the earth is here, is in here. It's in all these look like electric. I don't know if that's what they were, but because you could just see the power going through it, I guess is how I would do it, like the electricity or whatever. And he said, everything's there. And he said, you too, which I knew he meant you. He said, you two already brought people into that grid. What you have been doing is we've been bringing a consciousness into a collective, is how he said it, which I think I was more amazed at the stuff he was showing me and telling me. So I really wasn't thinking of asking questions. So it's in a collective, which, notice I keep going this way because it was down in with where all those roots and that were, I say roots, but we know they really weren't roots, right? So all the roots were of the trees and everything. So we've been bringing it down in. And he was showing like an energy doing this, right? Like, see, it's not really totally connected like this. It's here. And he said, what we've been doing and what we're starting to do now is all of these things are going to open up. So all of this consciousness of truth and of he didn't say verified field, but they're saying verified field of the verified energetic field is all here because all of the children, remember how they always said the children will wake up, all of us. So he said, so what we've been doing is we've been building all of this in here and we're getting this all really purified and really cleansed. And yes, it's affecting the human form because he goes, yeah, it was all of you are changing, all of you are doing. So you've been feeling the energies, you've been feeling the differences. You notice it when you're talking to Tracy. And he said your name. And you notice it when you're talking to Tracy. You two notice and you feel it because what you're really doing is changing this field that's in here. Now it had been all like this in this really tight, because he showed this really tight ball. well, now what's really opened up, and this part is like this. So he said, so you're doing that, and what's going to be happening, he said, with everything you two are doing, and you're bringing in, there's a whole consciousness out there that want the world to be a better place, and that want it to, that these are my words, I can't remember what he was, how the way he was saying it. And he said, so what's happening is when we're doing all of this, they too are coming in with their energy fields, and it's feeding into these particular pockets within the world. Okay, so all these little pockets, but he said down here, this is where they're all connected. So the pockets have to all be unified, and they all have to be opened up. And then what's going to happen is, because this is all being fed, the energy or whatever, to awaken it. Okay, so that's all being fed. Once they finally get enough of the energies in the fields together, where they're really got a very strong circular bond, that bond then immediately, this comes more into life, and it shoots up. Then it shoots through here, and you can see it. I'm getting chills even thinking about it. Then you can see like this big explosion and what of this energy. I mean, in such a great way. And what you saw then was this just like open up. And that's when all the, it was like that mushroom effect. That's what this energy did. It came up, and it was this beautiful, energetic like mushroom. And then the mushroom mushroomed and mushroomed and mushroomed. And then it just shot out over the entire world, out into what I would refer to as the galaxies. You saw the stars light up. You saw these planets like all of a sudden come into light, like we couldn't see them before. And all of a sudden we saw everything, and we saw how connected we were to these other beings on these other planets. And then he showed me, he said, now look, now. And then I saw people on the world, like just like sitting there like this, and all of a sudden they were like, and their whole face changed. They lit up. It was like they could see everything and be everything. And when this whole thing, but he said it was all the energy that all of these children are bringing forth. Every birth is feeding this now. And he said, and I think I said something about the dark. I was like, oh, is that amazing? Because there's no darkness, there's no shadow. And he said the darkness has been eating itself. He said it's been eating itself and destroying itself because, and then he showed me like all this darkness out in the world, right? And he said, now watch what you have all been doing. And the darkness like was circled with light energy. And the light that like was like engulfed, like completely encompassed upon it. So it was all light around it, and it was the dark inside. And he said, look what the dark's doing. And the dark, because it had nowhere to go, it was creating darkness within itself, which was destroying itself. So I was like, oh my God, that's like so crazy and cool. And he said, so everything that, when you get frustrated and you think that you're not seeing a difference, he said, look what's happening. And he said, there's so much good happening in the world, and people can't understand what's happening down here. And he said, but you see it. You see it and know that that's what's changing. That's what's shifting. And he said, so we as a collective, and I just saw all these like children, and he said, we as a collective are coming to the earth to assist and to help, because that's what you guys have been doing the entire time, opening up this field, opening up all of this, so that when we came, we were able to come in and do all this. And he said, yes, it's going to take a few years. He actually said a couple. He said, yes, it's going to take a couple of years. He said, but you feel it, you see it. He said, you have to keep doing the work, keep bringing that awareness to us. It's so much bigger. He said, and there's things that you can't even understand now. He said, but I'll work with you, meaning us. He said, but I'll work with you, and I'll help you guys to see and to open up and to do. And I was like, okay, that would be awesome. We would love that, because we're so ready. I'm like, let's go. And then I said that when I was like, let's go, all of a sudden I could feel something hit it. And like, I don't think I'm ready for this. I need to drive home later. And I want to make sure, I'm like, can we integrate this when I'm at home and in bed? And then all of a sudden it was like, it was there, but it sort of like lifted, and it was just out here, and I could feel it.
When did you do this?
Maybe Friday, but Monday we were also doing a lot of the stuff too.
Because so we got home late Monday night. And even today, I am like,
Yeah.
God, I'm so glad I'm home. Like there's this, it's weird. I just keep, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going anywhere, but
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I'm like, why? what are you? And I'm like, well, maybe it's not my house home. Maybe it's a bigger definition of
Yes,
home.
yes, yeah, because he did say everybody's going home. Everybody's going home. And because that's the only time I was like, home meaning we're dying. And he just sort of like, I just heard this like really cute little laugh, like one of the children's laughs. And he was like, no, silly, home. And when he said home, you just felt that like warmth. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, so that would make sense. And he's been, you know, he's even saying he's been working on us to lift what he was referring to as you have to lift not only the veils, but all of the common neutrality that has been on earth, because the common neutrality is a way for us to be asleep. He said it was all that common field, that common neutrality that is not, it was all based in fear and we're in control. And he said that's what we're here to release. And that's what everybody that's been doing all this stuff, that's what everybody's been doing. They're helping to get all of that, what was the foundation, to get all, he said, since there's no longer foundations, but there's still some of that residuals. And he said, and that's all leaving. So he's like, it will be one of the ones in the forefront that when we, you know how when they showed everybody like, oh my God, like they're waking up and they're seeing for the first time. He said that we're all of us that have been doing this stuff before and getting the earth ready and the people, not the, he said, not the ones that are teaching to control, that I am the teacher, you need me. He said, not them. He said, they will be left behind. He said, and then they'll be looking to everybody else for it. He said, but you guys will be in the forefront to see, to know, to be, and to just Joyce. And then he said, and look at her. And he showed you, and you were flying around, and you're like, I don't really need to fly. I just want to be there. That's the funniest thing. He's like, she's wanted that so bad, she has to fly first.
That's true.
Yeah, so that home makes sense.
And just this, like a declaration to myself, I'm not going anywhere. To do what? I don't even know. But just like to let it integrate to, because even a
Yes.
couple times when does this not happen? This weird, like dizzy, like almost like a
Yes.
buzzing in my
Yes.
brain. And I had to be like, I'm like, whoa, 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 wait till I get home. Because
Yes. Yes.
yeah,